Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Thanks for tuning in and welcome. More news has come out about the biggest criminal organization in the precious metals world, the most corrupt, and that's JP Morgan. We all know this. It all started back a couple years ago when they called Bitcoin a scam, and then right after they called Bitcoin a scam, it shot the price of Bitcoin down thousands of dollars, and then JP Morgan gets caught buying millions of dollars of Bitcoin right afterwards. That's kind of like what's happening here, what they're doing with gold and silver. This is called spoofing. It's placing a false buy order on the exchange so everyone else thinks that all the silver is being bought up, and they cancel the order right before it goes through. And it's definitely manipulating, brainwashing, tricking people into thinking the markets are headed or acting a certain way, but it's a false flag. Now, the U.S., the government caught on to this. 3 of their employees got arrested. It's a punishable crime. This stuff is highly illegal. And they've been doing it for years. And now that they're cracking down, looking back, they're backdating at their records to see how long this has been going on for and who was all involved. This is not just with JP Morgan, ladies and gentlemen. I hate to say it, but the Dutch Bank, Merrill Lynch, some of these other places have also gotten caught doing this, but JP Morgan is definitely is definitely the headliner. They're on the front page. And if I'm correct, these guys have done it to a whole nother level as well. I mean, sure, people do it all the time, but these guys took it to a whole nother level, and that's why they're getting charged with these crimes. So more news came out. So the U.S. clamps down on firms spoofing the market. So American regulators are slapping record fines on firms that cheat the market using techniques such as spoofing. Even tougher actions look to be on the cards. So when they did find them about a couple weeks ago, it was like something. It was something so minuscule for a such a big wealthy company. That's a little slap on the wrist. So I really do hope they crack down on this. It's never going to be completely gone. There's always going to be some form of price manipulation, but hopefully it's not enough to actually affect the prices. I mean, imagine what gold and silver's price could be naturally without all this happening, because it's not just happening from JP Morgan. And I wonder how much of the market actually is almost faked, almost is how much of the price is influenced off of I guess pseudo investing. So what's happened? A few weeks ago, the big U.S. bank J.P. Morgan Chase admitted that its then employees fraudulently rigged precious metals in Treasury, the U.S. government bond markets, tens of thousands of times between 2008 and 2016. Did you hear that number? Tens of thousands of times, and these are banks doing million dollar. This is crazy. As a part of its settlement with the U.S. authorities, it agreed to pay a total of $920 million in fines and restitution, including $172 million in disgorgement, meaning paying back its ill-gotten gains. The bank admitted that traders based in New York, London, and Singapore working in the gold, silver, and other precious metals futures markets, as well as the Treasury cash and futures markets, had engaged in the practice known as spoofing on thousands of occasions over the course of 8 years. So more news is coming out, and this is definitely shocking to say the least. Tens of thousands of times. Like this bank has literally made most of their money off of illegal activity. And I like how they do have to pay back all the illegal money they got, the dirty cash they got. But still, the part that sickens me is I know that they're going to keep doing it. They're just going to switch their tactic or go to something else. They also got caught, if you guys remember the story I talked about probably about a year ago. They got caught with millions of dollars in misprinted gold bars that were going to be sold on the black market. So is that easy to get away with? It depends how wealthy you are, how often you're doing this. But like many forms of market manipulation, spoofing is a pretty crude ruse that would have to have been relatively hard to get away with when traders work together in a pit in an old-fashioned exchange. And see, the hardest part about spoofing is who's to say, because people cancel orders all the time. That's not illegal. But when you do it strategically and with ill intent, that's what's illegal about it. So it's hard to look at someone and say they canceled that on purpose. They never intended to buy that. That's where it can get a little tricky. But with a company like that, it's blatantly obvious, when they're doing it tens of thousands of times, then you catch on. But if people are kind of doing it here and there, they probably will get away with it. So the dominance of algorithm trading systems, which rapidly analyze order books to work out where the markets are heading next, makes it easier and more tempting for actual humans to spoof them. Indeed, many traders would quietly argue that spoofing is merely a modern form of bluffing, a perfectly legitimate trading tactic that levels the playing field for humans against machines. As one of JP Morgan trader puts it, it's according to prosecutors, the tactic was a little razzle dazzle to juke the algos, and they're trying to kind of wean around the algorithm, but it's illegal, right? Next part. So yes, but it's only been specifically outlawed in the U.S. since 2010. And it's interesting because it's been outlawed in 2010, but they backdate to 2008. I'm pretty sure. What did it say? 2008, 2016. So when they first started, it actually wasn't illegal. Spoofing can be a hard crime to prove, since it's the authorities have to show the trader intended in advance to cancel their order. Like I was just saying, it is, after all, perfectly legal to change your mind. Even so, in the past 2 years, many of the leading global banks have paid penalties to regulators on spoofing charges, including the Dutch Bank, HSBC, Merrill Lynch, and UBS. Last month, 2 former Dutch bank metals traders in Chicago were convicted of the offense. But the $920 million in penalties handed to JP Morgan Chase are several times as large as previous examples. It represents a step by change by the U.S. regulators. And that's what I was talking about. Before, it was like a slap on the wrist, and that's why they kept doing it. But now, if the fines get bigger, if people actually get arrested, it might cut back. It's never going to go away. But it can definitely get cut back a lot. I really hope that, because when people hear this is bad, this puts a bad rap on investing into precious metals. Let's say someone was thinking about it, or on the fence about investing, and they hear this story that the prices have been manipulated and by this large of an amount by big central banks like JP Morgan Chase, they might not get into it. Don't banks get fined all the time? I mean, indeed, since the global financial crisis of 2008, banks worldwide have paid around $30 billion in regulatory fines each year on average. That period has seen a series of banking sector scandals relating to various forms of market manipulation and collusion, including the Libor scandal of 2012, the Forex scandal of 2014, Wells Fargo fake account scandal of 2016, according to an exhaustive study by Boston Consulting Group compiled in 2017. Banks had paid $321 billion in fines in the previous decade, with North American banks accounting for 63% of that. A 2018 tally by Keefe and Woods, it's a U.S. research firm, came up with a similar figure. They surveyed fines on just the U.S. banks that put a total of $243 billion. Bank of America was on the top offender with $76 billion of fines. J.P. Morgan Chase was second at $44 billion. So it's honestly disgusting. It's honestly disgusting to look at this. This is prime. This is one of the prime reasons why I invested into precious metals. When there's times of economic uncertainty and people don't trust banks and governments, they transfer their money to gold and silver. But then as soon as things get back in line, they sell their gold and silver back for fiat. See, that's missing the whole purpose. That you're missing the whole point of investing into precious metals. The whole point is taking your money out of something that's worthless and putting it into something that holds its value. The U.S. dollar lost 90% of its purchasing power. Government, the whole system is corrupt. The whole system is designed to fail, and that's why you switch your money into something that won't fail. It's fail-proof. Gold and silver, been valuable for 5,000 years. I promise you, it's always going to be. The dollar system, though, is a newborn baby, and it has failed everywhere else over the world. It's taking a little longer for the richer countries like America, but if you look at third world countries, their system has already failed. We're going in the same direction. So do fines work as deterrent? Compared to the size of their balance sheet and revenues, the fines levied on banks look like a pretty manageable cost of doing business. And that's what I was kind of saying. It's like it's never going to go away. I mean, yeah, it could hurt them, but not to a degree, especially when they're making that much money off of it. If they can find another way, they're going to do it. According to research conducted by John Coffey of Columbia University's Law School, who looked at a sample of the 25 biggest fines imposed on listed U.S. companies, not all of them are banks. Fines don't have much of a deterrent effect on top of executives or even worry shareholders that much. Indeed, and that's the worst part is people almost like they'll accept it. They're like, well, my money's still safe, and they're still making money. Who cares if they're illegal, right? Who cares? I'm still going to use Chase Bank, right? Who cares? This is not a call for lower penalties, but for a focus on individual executives. Today, when faced with a government investigation, corporate executives, high and low, face a choice. Do they risk personal liability, or do they settle with their shareholders' money? Surprise of all surprises, they would prefer to plead the corporation guilty, or in a civil case, pay a large settlement to the SEC and others. Aren't JP Morgan traders facing jail? Yes, not least because U.S. prosecutors have charged their suspects under the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organization, the RICO Act, a law targeting organized crime. These include Michael Nowak, the bank's former head of precious metals trading, and Greg Smith, a senior gold trader. Both men have pleaded not guilty to all charges. Using the RICO Act against legitimate businesses rather than mobsters has few precedents, but the Department of Justice has decided that the evidence from JP Morgan meets the criteria of a racketeering conspiracy, a pattern of illegality over time with individuals working together to further the goals of allegedly criminal enterprise. It has been decades, says Tom Schoenberg of Bloomberg, since the U.S. government has attempted to apply the anti-racketeering law to members of the major bank trading desks. It places Nowak and others in crosshairs once trained on the likes of the Latin Kings and the Gambino crime family. If that doesn't concentrate minds on Wall Street, it's hard to see what will. That's exactly that's exactly what I'm saying. If this large of a crime, if this severe of a crime and this severe of a penalty isn't going to nudge them or even at least make them turn a blind eye or catch their attention, then it's only going to get way worse. Not only from people getting away with it, but also for the amounts that are doing it. Because think about this. Right now, this is what, if other banks are doing this, they're looking at this situation and seeing how it pans out. If it's and obviously there's going to be fines, obviously, but if the risk and reward this goes off a risk and reward factor. If the risk is less than the reward, they're going to keep doing it. And that's for other banks. Other banks are going to look at the fines, they're going to look at how big of a deal this is, and they're going to say, okay, well, they got caught with that, but if it's worth it in the end of the day, then they're going to keep doing it. Probably JP Morgan as well. Just like if you're doing something illegal, people who sell illegal stuff or whatever, they know that they can get caught and they get jail time. But if the money coming in is good enough for them to risk that, they're going to keep doing it. And that's the scary part. They have to figure out a way to fix this because it's organized crime, it's racketeering, and it's not fair to the precious metals market. It's not fair to the traders. They get I guess tricked into this form of investing, and it can be dangerous. I guess if you want to avoid all this, just buy precious metals, buy the physical precious metal, and don't go onto the exchanges. Don't start trying to marginal trade. Don't trade stocks. Don't go into the ETFs. Just buy some silver on APMEX, put it in your safe, and keep it there. It's that simple. Now, obviously, the spot price will be influenced, but I don't think anywhere near to the extent from the people losing money or getting tricked on the exchanges that are trading on there. As soon as the order gets canceled, the whole volume of that market is now it's gone, and that person didn't realize it because it looks like it's going to go through, right? Looks like a whole bunch of volumes bought up. It looks like all this money is coming in, and they don't even know that that's not really there. It's an illusion. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. I love covering this type of stuff because, I like to show the good, the bad, and the ugly. There's gold and silver isn't all rainbows and unicorns. There's some serious corrupt stuff in whatever, wherever there's money, there's going to be corrupted people, and corrupted organized crime, and that's just how it is. Precious metals, one of the safer ones. Imagine what stock markets. Imagine what even Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin is that's how Bitcoin started, was from illegal activity, right? So wherever wherever there's money, wherever there's a dollar to be made, there's going to be some shadies. There's going to be corrupt individuals behind the scenes, but can you still benefit? Can you still profit off of it regardless? That's what you have to learn how to do, because let's say you saw the situation like, I'm not going to invest in the precious metals anymore. It's too risky. That stuff's crazy. Well, wherever you go, stock markets, real estate, Bitcoin, wherever you go next, it's going to be the same stuff happening. So you got to learn how to adapt and adjust with it and still use it to your advantage. Hopefully these people get caught. Hopefully they get the punishment, but you can't let that type of stuff affect your investing. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you thought the video was educational, informational, or at least entertaining, make sure to smash the like button. I posted another video earlier today. It's some good stuff. The videos I've been posting lately, I've really been enjoying. As you guys can see, my videos are a lot longer nowadays. Videos around 15-20 minutes long. I used to make videos just around 10 minutes, just enough to pass that 10-minute mark. And I'd be like looking at the timer to see like how much. But now I'm trying to make my content a lot higher quality, go deeper into stuff, and I actually enjoy these videos. I don't look at how long I've been recording. I make sure I get the whole point across, and when the video ends, that's when I feel like I've covered the topic completely and I got the point across of the article or whatever I'm talking about. And that's the way it should be, right? I just feel better about my content nowadays, and I hope you guys enjoy it more as well. So I'm going to wrap this video up here. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe. You definitely got to subscribe, especially with all the craziness happening around the world today. I'll keep you guys updated on a daily basis. I'll keep you guys in the loop. With that said, thanks for tuning in. See you guys soon. Peace.